Hello there, thank you so much for stopping by. My name is ChitChad, and welcome back to another episode of Planet Coaster, where we are working on the Chatterbox Studios theme park. Today, we are going to be revisiting some of the previous builds down the Hollywood Boulevard section of the park, including the Hollywood Boulevard Cinema. And as you can see, we are utilizing those newer text pieces that we got from the vintage pack. Stumbling my words already. Good Lord, this episode's off to a great start. But you'll actually see me utilizing or playing around with a lot of the vintage pack elements, just because at the time of recording this, I had downloaded the pack, but I hadn't actually gone through to see what all was available. And so you'll see me play around a lot with the pack elements. And I've got to say, I really like the vintage pack, mostly because of the really small, detailed stuff like this trimming that I'm currently using on the theater. That kind of stuff I absolutely love. Those really small details that can really bring together or just make what was a pretty cool piece just pop even more. You know what I mean? So I'm going to be using a lot of those kind of trim elements just because they bring that detail to these builds, you know. And it's so funny because we have so many options in Planet Coaster already that we just keep getting more, and that's so awesome. The only drawback is that I am starting to lose track of things. I don't know about you, but like, even though I've been playing this game since like alpha, beta, whatever they called the original release of this way back when, but there are still some pieces to this day that I completely forget about, and I'll be like, when was this added? And then realize like it's been in there for almost forever. And just, you know, it's fun. It's the only drawback, really, is we keep getting all these amazing new pieces, and we're just going to get more and more and more, because I feel like it's never going to end. There's just so much more that they can add, and there's just so much more we all can do with what we have already. And I just think that's so much fun, and there's some fun into like rediscovering objects or assets that you had used prior or have never used before, and then realizing, oh, I can use this for something. And I think there's like a level of joy in that I've experienced so much in this game, just finding either new things or old things that basically are new again. So it's just been a lot of fun. But like I said, in this episode, we are going to be going back and just detailing some of the previous builds. As you can see, we're just working on some of the shops right now. We will now transition over to the coffee shop, where I will fumble a little bit just trying to get the placement of the actual coffee stand stall, whatever you want to call it, the actual coffee shop inside the shop, just trying to figure out where I wanted that to be placed in general. And so there will be a couple of cuts throughout this episode just to make the struggle look a little less apparent, but now it's totally apparent because I'm calling myself out on it. So there we go. I broke the magic once again. I've destroyed the magic. I apologize so much, so darn much. Anyway, so the other things that we're going to be working on in today's episode, of course, we'll be jumping back into the taxi themed coaster. In fact, in the next episode, we are going to be doing a crazy deep dive into the taxi coaster and adding a lot more elements, which I'm really excited for. So definitely stay tuned. I'm going to try and get that episode out as soon as possible. Of course, probably after this episode, I will be releasing another Mario theme park, which everyone's getting really excited for now that I'm brought back Luigi's Mansion, and I've had a lot of fun building that out. I can't wait to share the next episode of that as well, because it was a fun one. Boy, howdy, was it a fun one. And it actually had me thinking about some of the Halloween-themed events that theme parks have been putting on. Universal's been killing it with a lot of their themes this year for their horror nights. I mean, good Lord, Stranger Things alone had me just absolutely like ecstatic, and I am so sad that I will not be able to experience it. But today they actually posted a bunch of pictures of the walkthrough, and I guess I have to take a step back. If you don't know, Universal, a lot of places, do this. I think Knott's Scary Farm is a big one, but I'm partial to Universal just because I've experienced it before. I've experienced one of their walkthroughs before, and it's like I have no other comparison really other than the ones that I've done here in Arizona, and those aren't the greatest things they're not bad. They're just they're not like theme park level. But when I first experienced the Universal one, and it was a temporary walkthrough. I don't even think it was a Horror Nights event. It was just a walkthrough that they had temporary for some, I think it was for, I don't want to say the Scorpion King when that came out way back when, but I'm not gonna say it was the Scorpion King, but it was really, really impressive. And then the one most recently that I've experienced, which again isn't part of the Horror Nights, it's just one that they've had, is the Walking Dead walkthrough, which is really cool and really well done. So they do these events every once in a while, but then of course for Halloween they put on this absolutely huge event which with multiple walkthroughs, and I saw the Stranger Things one that they're doing, and it is so crazy. Like the amount of detail that they put into this is so it's mind-blowing, but it's so sad that you only get to experience that for Halloween and then it's gone, you know? It's like you wish that there was a duplicate experience where you could just always visit some of these things, because I love the Haunted Mansion and I love the Holiday Haunted Mansion when they bring Nightmare Before Christmas into it, and I wish I could just ride both whenever I wanted to, because they're both fun, you know? They're both great in their own ways, but seeing this Stranger Things one specifically really had me wanting to make something Stranger Things themed, because I love that show. I love its aesthetic. I love the way it's shot. I love everything. The music. Oh, it's just so many elements of that show are great. So I literally geeked out when I saw that that was coming to Horror Nights. So I'm going to be like looking up videos as soon as people are walking through that, because I want to see it. Because from what I did see, it's extensive. Like it's the forest, it's the upside down, it's the school, it's the laboratory. Like they did all sorts of crazy stuff, and I'm just like, oh, the detail work is mind-bogglingly amazing. And like I said, that made me kind of want to rethink my idea of doing an Aliens themed ride, instead doing a Stranger Things themed ride, because I don't think I've seen anybody tackle Stranger Things yet. I'm sure someone has, because you know there's so many just great creators out there that just make all these cool things, and I'm sure someone had to have made a Stranger Things themed ride or something of that nature. I'm sure it exists, and now I am going to be looking that up as soon as I'm done recording this episode, because now I'm curious. I want to see that. But yeah, so we're jumping back into the taxi coaster, and we're going to be adding some triggered events. It was definitely nice jumping back into that system, and I feel like it's become a lot more robust and usable since the last time I really jumped into doing any sort of triggered events on a coaster. And you'll see, especially in the next episode of Mario, the Mario theme park with Luigi's Mansion, I did a super deep dive into the triggered events for the ride, at least the early portions of it. We do some scene sequences and we do some light sequences, and it's really fun. And I forgot how much joy I get out of doing those kind of things, because that's really what brings your park or your ride experience to life, is having all these objects actually interplay with the coaster itself. And the fact that we have the ability to do that is just so fun, and it's definitely something I need to get stronger at. But boy, does it take a lot of patience. And I feel bad because when I'm recording it, I'm just like going through the menu and I'm just like, oh, this isn't exciting to watch. I'm literally just scrolling through numbers and changing, you know, time intervals and stuff like that. So hopefully you all don't mind when I start jumping into triggered events, because especially for the next Mario episode, because it's going to have a lot of them in there. But yeah, I've been having a lot of fun with just this almost, I mean, I'm not gonna say it's generically themed taxi coaster. I mean, obviously the taxi is the theme, but it's fun to just build something just for the heck of it and not be tied down to any specific theme. But I do get really excited, especially when it's like we were just talking about Stranger Things. But it's fun just to kind of just make something from scratch and not have really any sort of base or reference to anything other than, you know, I love the Crazy Taxi games and I love the Rip Ride Rocket Coaster. So I just kind of use those as a thought while I was building this, and it's been really fun. Real quick, before we end today's episode, I just want to remind everybody of the Discord contest that I have going on over on my Discord. You can find a link to said Discord in the description down below. We are doing our first contest. It's a signage based contest, so if you are interested in making a sign for this park, go ahead and check out that contest. And we are at the end of today's episode. Thank you all so much for watching. And as always, I will chat with you later.